Do you have guests coming for the holidays? I'm going to be making some guest bars so that my guests can choose out of a dish of what little hotel size bar of soap they'd like to use. I'm starting with a 3-pack of Jergens. I've got my crock pot. This is a mini crock pot. This might hold 2 quarts, and I'll be using 3 bars of that soap. You'll need a cutting board and a sharp knife. Optional, you can add fragrances, oatmeal, lavender blossoms, calendula blossom petals, pumice grit, cornmeal to provide a grit, or you can just go with the soap. I will be using the soap, some essential oils, and some mica powders or dyes, powdered dyes, to color each different batch I'm making, so I can have one that's masculine and outdoorsy smelling, one that's feminine and floral fragrance, and one that's suitable for children. So let's get started. I'm going to put the crock pot out of the way, and I'm going to chop up these bars. You can use a food processor, you can use a cheese grater, you can use a sharp knife, whatever you like. I might switch to a cheese grater if this is difficult. Oh, it's quite soft. It's quite soft. Now, I got this idea from Kelly Barlow Creations. I'm doing my own take on it, and for my own reasons. Like I said, I'd like to have a guest bar. Okay, I've got that all broken up nicely. I'm going to dump that in my crock pot. I'm going to use only 3 bars in this size crock pot and see how it turns out. Taking the label off is the hardest part. Now, Kelly mentioned she used this bar because it was basically unscented. It's actually pretty fragrant. I grew up using Jergens soap. I haven't used it for a long time. I don't even know if my skin would tolerate this anymore. I guess I'll find out in a couple of days. I'm going to put my crock pot on high. I'm going to put in a cup of water. I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'll be back in 20 minutes. It's been about 10 minutes. I want to give this a stir. That's quite a lot of water, but that'll evaporate off in the drying process. You can see the liquid has gotten milky. It's dissolving already. I'll come back in 10 minutes. Let's have a look. It's getting bubbly. Can you see that? It's starting to get bubbly. This is pretty fragrant, so you don't even have to add fragrancing or essential oils if you don't want to. Just do this and then put it into molds and make it smaller. 20 more minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to start sorting out my essential oils. I do get recipe boxes from Simply Earth, and I have a wide variety of the Simply Earth brand essential oils. I've ordered a couple of books from their website. This is their 2020 edition of the essential oil recipes, and this is the essential oil recipe book for a 2021 edition. In the early pages of the 2021 edition, there is a list that tells you whether it's child safe, whether it's safe for pregnancy and nursing moms, cats, dogs, if it's sun safe, because some oils will increase your risk of burning. And it's got all of the oils listed. It's got their exclusive blends, and it's got all of the oils they offer. I've gone through the list to find out what oils would be safe for children and what oils would be safe around cats, because every person I may want to give gifts to has cats. Everyone. Except us. Does that tell you something? To make a product for a child, you have to considerably reduce the percentage of essential oils in the mix. The ratio has to be much altered. I'm using 4 different essential oils to get the fragrance I want, and they're all child safe, but I can only use 2 drops. I'm going to make up a blend in a separate bottle. I have Howood, I have Copapa, I have Amyris, and for fun, I have Tangerine. These are all cat safe, these are all child safe. When you order your first recipe box from Simply Earth, they also send you a big recipe box, and the big bonus box. The big bonus box also comes with 6 of these dropper bottles. It comes with 6 roller bottles for roll-on blends, and it comes with solid coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, which is liquid, comes with almond oil, and it comes with beeswax. And then each month they send you the other items to make up the recipes for that particular month. So this can be used for making up a diffuser blend that I can use while my guests are here, and it won't bother the child. I'm going to probably put 5 or 6 of each in here. That smells like someone just peeled a tangerine right here in my kitchen. This one is Howood. And I put the lid on the wrong bottle. There we go. And I'll put in 6 drops of Amyris. That's only given me a little in the bottom of the bottle, but I can now control more easily how much I'm putting in for the child's recipe. Always label your creations. I don't have my labels with me today, but I have some painter's tape, so I'll use that. So this is Amyris times 6, Howood times 6, Tangerine times 6, and Copapa times 6. Now I can label my bottle. I can put a better label on that after. But for now, that's the child blend. Let's give this a stir again. We want to keep stirring this until all of these lumps have come out and it becomes a smooth, more like a mashed potato rather than a lumpy, gooey mess. I'm glad I put in as much water as I did. This is quite soft still. It's like mashed potatoes, but I'm still waiting for those hard bits to melt. You should be able to do this with ivory soap as well, or any other soft bar that's relatively low fragrance. This is actually quite fragrant. Technically, I don't need to add fragrancing at all. Okay, the timer just went off again. This has been 40 minutes now. We're almost there. Almost there. I think when I go to mix the essential oils into this, I'm going to cut this in half. This is going to give me plenty of bars for guest soaps, and I can make some as guest soap, and I can make some as Christmas gifts. That's a lot. So I might get a masculine and a feminine out of this, but I definitely want to do the child one, so I'll do the child one for sure. I've been watching and watching for silicone molds to show up that were the appropriate size for what I needed. I have some of these silicone muffin liners. These are by Wilton. I don't want to use those for soap because then they might be fragrant of soap, and I wouldn't want to use them for cooking in again. Sometimes you'll find ice cube trays that have a silicone bottom on them, and you can just pop the item out afterwards, but those are going to be ice cube size, and I want something a little bigger than that. You could take a cake pan of whatever size and work with that. Line it with saran or parchment before you start. This is going to give, this batch would give you slices that are very shallow and long rectangles. This one is a little smaller. It would still give you small rectangular slices. So when I saw this and how much smaller they are, I thought that was a go-to. Even compared to the small cake pan, they are considerably smaller. I got these at Dollarama. That's one of our stores that's similar to Dollar Tree, but they do have different products. Right beside those, I found these mini cake molds. They're for shaped cupcakes or whatever. They're an oven-safe silicone mold, and they're dishwasher safe. Yeah. These will be great. Look at the size of that. That's perfect. Perfect for a guest bar. I can put just a little bit in the bottom of that and it will be great. Just maybe half fill it even, and it would just be enough to move around in your hands. I have a different plan for these. I don't think that would make a great bar of soap, but I do have a different idea. And then there's these. Can you see that? These are a little teddy bear, and they even have the indents where the eyes and the mouth are going to be, so that will make a nice child's bar. And with all those cutouts for the arms and legs, that will be easier for a child to hold on to, and so they can learn how to rub the soap on the cloth or foam it up in their hands. That'll make it fun for them. And I can fill that full so it's nice and thick and chunky, or I can fill it half full so it's a little more manageable. I'll do what I can with half of this batch to make 3 molds for the child. I'm down to my final 10 minutes of this. I was finding this was too thick, so I dug a well in the center of the soap, and I added about 1/4 cup. I put in more the last time, the camera was not on. I added about 1/4 cup of warm tap water, hot tap water, and I did the well and the hot water so I didn't shock the ceramics by hitting it with cold. This is getting really soft now. I'm going to give it that final 10 minutes and then I will be back. Okay, so that has been my entire hour. Oh, this is quite soft now. I'm using the lid to keep the container from rattling so much. Now I'm going to divide that in half. I'm going to just put a cup in here. I have to work quickly because it will solidify in this container, and I don't want to have to remelt the whole thing all over again. I'm going to need to take more out. This is going to just make these 3 little bars here. It's better to start with less and add back in if I want to. So here is the blend I made of the children's fragrance, and I'm just going to put 3 drops in there. 1, 2, come on, 3. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to burn my granddaughter's skin. Oh, and the tangerine fragrance is strong. As soon as it hit the heat. Now I want to make sure that's all mixed through. I also have mica powder that I bought on Amazon for my polymer clay crafting. I'm going to pick a pink because I have a granddaughter. Okay, this is a dusty rose with a pearl. What does this say? It says soap dye, so that's perfect. And it is a dusty rose. It's got a bit of a shimmer to it. I'm just going to use a tiny bit of this at a time until I get to the color that I like. I'm using the handle of the spoon to just lift out. That's way too much. There we go. That's pretty shallow what I had there. So let's see how this works. This is hot. Okay, it's just the slightest bit of pink. Let's put that into my mold. I'm just going to drop that on the counter to make sure it gets into any of the pockets underneath, so I don't have air bubbles in on the face of it. Going to re-establish the shape, make sure it's not bent out of shape, and I want to smooth the top of this off as much as possible. I can come in with a knife later and slice that off. Okay? Again, making sure that the mold shape is still right. Okay, that's it for my 3 child's molds. There is a little bit left in here, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to add this other soap back in. I'm happy that it stayed soft. that will pick up the rest of that pink dye. It will pick up the rest of the soap in the bottom. And I'm going to add some more dye to that, but I'm going to switch colors. Oh, I have something purple down here. Mica powder. Do I have a purple soap dye? This was a kit that came with both soap dye and mica powder. There's a dark purple soap dye. So I'm going to add more dye this time. It's darker, so it might work out totally differently, but I'm going to use that. And for the feminine fragrance, I'm going to add black pepper. It actually smells amazing. Two drops of that. And I'm going to use myrtle because it also smells amazing and has good skin properties. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got 3 of that. Frankincense is amazing for your skin. The smell is very earthy. Patchouli is also cat safe and child safe, but I'm not a fan of patchouli, so I'm not using that. Okay, we've got about 9 drops in there already. And then chamomile is my final essential oil. It smells quite nice. It smells almost like patchouli without the strength of the power, without the depth that patchouli has. Okay, let's mix them in. Again, I'm going to hold this still because it's rocking. I think I'm going to stop there because it has a bit of a marble appearance to it. I'm going to make this into the large mold. I want to make sure it gets into all of the corners and all of the bottom of the sides. I want to make sure all of this space is filled. Now let's get that cleaned up. I'm going to recommend do not put your crock into the dishwasher when you're finished. There is way too much soap left in here, and it'll be safe to go down the drain, but you don't want the extra suds in your dishwasher. Make this as smooth or as rough as you like. That's going to be part of the finished product. You can slice this off when you get to that point, make it smooth or rustic as you like. You could add a topping to this so that one side is rough and rustic, and with lavender flowers or with chamomile flowers or with oatmeal or whatever you want. I'm going to drop that on the counter again to see if I can get it to level a little bit better. Sorry, it's going to shake the camera. Now I'm going to set these on a cookie sheet. It's pretty cool outside today, so I could, like it's 32 or 0, I could put these outside and let them cool quickly. I'll use a cookie sheet to move them around. Hey guys, I've come back a couple days later. These took a long time to solidify. I used a lot of water, but they are becoming more firm now. This is still soft enough in here that it can leave a fingerprint, but I'm sure that if I leave it out in the air, it will dry. That's 2 days already. These molds I got from Dollarama here in Ontario worked great. As a cupcake mold, they'd probably be fine, but as a bar of soap, that's a little too thick. And I do have some bubbles. Even though I tried to get those bubbles out by dropping it on the counter, it did form some bubbles. I took this one and I just took a very long, thin, sharp knife. This is a fillet knife for fish. And I just sliced it. So one of these designs one half of these designs will have the face imprint on them, and the other won't. There is a bit of overlap here. You can take a nail file or a sharp knife and trim that off after the soap is completely hardened. This is too soft to work with today. This has been, I'm going to say 3 days. They come off quite easily. They just pop right out. And there we go again. It is quite thick, and I have that waste on the edge. I'll cut that off later. I'm going to have 6 little teddy bear bars. They'll make a nice gift. I'm turning them upside down, cut side up, so that they can dry the rest of the way. And I'll set those aside for a few more days. This won't be a last minute gift idea, but this is something you can do ahead of time. I'm going to get into that other bar here in just a second. Okay, here is the feminine scented one with the purple marble finish. There was a little bit of pink left in the crock, if you remember, and then I put the remainder of the soap in, and I put the purple soap dye and the other fragrances. They turned out to be a reasonable size for a guest bar. I'm going to slice that up now. And my robot vacuum is tickling my foot. Okay, that's still pretty shallow, but as a guest bar, I'm happy with that. So they're just about the right size to be, you know, similar to a hotel bar. When you go to a hotel, they have individual soaps for you. Big enough to wash with, for sure. And I can put some twine on that and gift wrap that a little bit, or put a belly band on it so it looks rustic, and I could just write guest on it. And now that it's finished, I must say I'm a little disappointed that the essential oil fragrance has not come through. It still smells like Jergens. Maybe after it's dry it will ease that a little. So there's our end result, guys. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope you consider giving this a trial. It might work for your benefit. I'm going to lay these out on a piece of paper so that they dry. I'm going to get them off the plastic. On the sheet of plastic, they won't dry on the bottom side, so I'm laying these on a sheet of paper. I have some clear unprinted newsprint, and I'll just lay them on that. Thanks for hanging around, guys. If you like this content, please subscribe and remember to come back. See ya.